Join Gator great Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. Live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Got a lot to talk about today. We'll have JC. We'll have Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. If you missed it, Gators upset Ole Miss 24-17 in the Swamp. I believe it's the best win Billy Napier's ever had. It's the best win the Gators have had in years.
Yes.
Be a damn good football team, and we'll talk a lot about it today. But college football is in chaos right now. And good old JC squad just got demolished. Sooners.
QB.
They got demolished.
They haven't been under double digits on scoring offense since 2011, 13 years. And they sniffed the end zone once and got called back on a phantom illegal touching call, which the announcers.
What was the score? What was the score when that happened?
It was 24-3. It would have been 24-10 with the whole quarter to play. Nevertheless, Oklahoma was better that night, and Alabama, I think, for all intents and purposes, as well as Mississippi, are going to be going to a boring bowl game for them anyway. It's not for all teams. But for them, it's not what they wanted, but that's what they're going to get, and that's what they deserve. So in the SEC, with Mississippi and Alabama losing, I think, QB, you're only looking at 3 teams to go to the playoff unless complete chaos breaks out again next weekend. And I know that's not what Gator fans really care about or want to talk about right now, but it is the reality of what we have left for college football. Florida's got a big game, a rivalry weekend coming up in Tallahassee, and then a nice bowl game. Hopefully a trip that everybody would want to go on and support the team. This game they played, as you said, was the best game he's had as coach here. It's just clearly no question.
Yeah.
And I think that team they beat was the best team that they've played all year and was definitely the best team they've played in many years. I think they were that good. But I mean, even Texas, I think they were better than Texas. But
I saw Texas in person. I said this and I'll stand by it. I think it's a huge win for the Gators because I think Ole Miss is that good. Here's what I will say about it. The reason we won the football game, we played our tails off. Yeah. Billy's plan offensively, whether you like it or not, was unbelievable. Nobody has run on Ole Miss this year. Now, Princely cannot defend the run, and number 4, Cinderin Perkins, is a 215-pound opposite defensive end. They both lead the nation in sacks, right? Yeah. He ran right at them, and we just overpowered them. He knew we couldn't drop back and throw against this team. You know, DJ in the first half made some phenomenal plays in the pocket to avoid sacks. But then our first 9 plays of the second half, we came out trying to throw the football, and we got sacked. We got holding. It was a disaster. You can't drop back and throw against them. And so I thought his plan, running the football down their throats, paid off. I thought our bend but don't break again worked. They hit 2 nice touchdown passes. Those are just well-designed, well-executed plays against us. But I thought it was a phenomenal play. Right here, Barone says, sadly, no, I want to read this one real quick while I'm on the game here. Hunter says, Billy outcoached Lane plain and simple. Not impressed with Kiffin and his game decisions. You take points when you're on the road. Obviously, Hunter's never watched Lane coach then. But, yes, so the Gators gave up almost 500 yards of offense, held them 0 for 3 in the red zone, and held them for 2 for 4 on 4th downs. That was key to the game. And you know what Ole Miss is raising hell about, the fans are raising hell about today, JC?
What's that, QB?
That he played a receiver at running back.
I know it.
They had Ulysses Bentley, who's one of their big-time running backs, and he hasn't been playing them for some reason. He had him on kickoff return, but he never let him play running back, and they had a wide receiver. So, it was it was a great win. I did not think we could beat that team. I really didn't.
You know, they also stopped Pegues on those short yards.
Yes, that's what I said, the 2 for 4.
Yeah, that didn't happen all year long, and it did on Saturday. And I guess the other thing I would mention is that Walter Nolan is as great as he is. You got an over pursuing defense, you go right through the tackles, and I think Florida showed that they can do that, and they did that. And I'm just really confused at what they were trying with Pegues on many of those plays, without going through the A or B gaps on short yardage. They were going outside.
Yeah.
And so that didn't really it didn't work. It wasn't the best play. But listen, Florida's defense the last 2 weeks, you have to tip your cap to the way that defense is playing.
Think about it. You had two high-powered offenses that had about 500 yards of offense. One team scored 16 points, the other scored 17.
That's right.
I think
matters.
I firmly believe this as well. The first about 3 years of Billy, I mean, we're almost done with year 3, right? Almost the entire 3 years, he was snake bitten. I mean, we had a lot of bad luck, whether it was your people complaining about the play call or whatever. There was just bad luck. We've had some luck in the last couple of weeks, and it's nice. It's very nice.
Well, it's good to get paid back in that regard. You're right. But, here at the end of the day, and I'm just bringing out facts, and I'm not pissing on anybody's parade here, he's 17-19 in 3 years. Now, he'll be 18-19 after this game, and he'll have a large amount of momentum going into spring. And hopefully, his transfer portal season opens up, I think, in a week. Or is it December 3rd, QB? When is that?
I think it is.
Okay, so that's going to be I think now when you've got 2 wins in front of players that you really want to come be Gators, that is really good momentum. That is really what you wanted. And that's exactly what they got. I mean, who thought this was going to be the case after that game in Austin, Texas? And even though Florida didn't have any players in that game, it was just a bad vibe. And then these next 2 weeks come, and look at what's happened. So it's really great. And they're going to get to postseason now, and that's important too, especially because they didn't go last year. And so I'm thinking if the trend is up, you're going to hear a lot of folks nationally mention Florida as an up and comer, and here they are. And good. That's what we want. We want something like this, and we got what we wanted the last 2 weeks. That's for sure. And Florida State, big game. I mean, say what you want. They're 2-9, but it's the biggest rivalry Florida has, isn't it? I mean, wasn't it your biggest rivalry when you played, QB?
Yeah. Oh, well, because I mean, both teams were always in the top.
They were always
10,
good. Yeah, they were always good when you played. They're not now.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. It's still Florida State. It's still
you got to win the game.
You
got to win the
game. Right.
Joseph says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mello, everything was pretty good offensive except for 3rd and 5 in the first quarter. We lined up an empty and threw a slant to the running back lined up. Yeah, I mentioned that on the broadcast. I didn't like it, but here's the problem. You line up in that formation, and whatever the play is called, the quarterback has to throw it to where his reads tell him to go, and that's where he told him to go. So I hear you, but we got out of that quickly. That was the only time we did that. I thought Billy, he knew we could run the football on him, and I'll be damned if we didn't. It was good to see. Somebody on here asked me, why did I think we couldn't beat Ole Miss? I still to this day think they're maybe one of the best teams in America just because they lost the game. Look, I thought Jackson Dart was phenomenal in the game. He made some bad decisions at the end of the game.
They also dropped balls. I mean,
I thought he was outstanding. I thought it was a very good college football game with a lot of momentum back and forth.
Right.
And the home team found a way to win in their ballpark. You look around, Auburn wins at home.
Oklahoma
wins at home.
Oklahoma wins at home. Oklahoma wins at home.
Yeah.
LSU wins at home. So, yeah, man, this has been one crazy season. And for Florida fans, you really have to feel good about the way this month has ended. And I got to say, with those kids that showed up to watch it, you really feel like you're going to get some of them. And that may have not been the case 3 weeks ago, to be honest.
Mike Hilm says, people keep saying that the fan base owes Napier an apology. Why? It is not like he's just won the Natty. It is just 2 wins. Great. Keep it going. Long way to go.
Right.
I mean, you got momentum. He's still
we have momentum.
We beat a very, very good football team Saturday. Very good.
Yeah. They're feeling awful. This was their all-in year at Mississippi. They had a lot of all-in guys, a lot of senior classmen, so forth. Quarterbacks not coming back next year, but now they're going to get a good kid in Simmons. He's going to play for them. But listen, it's not time to worry about Mississippi. It's time to be excited about what we've seen in the last 2 weeks. Carry that momentum to Tallahassee, blow them out. And then if you get that done, or just win the game, really, but winning against Florida State is paramount to finishing off this very exciting second half of the month. And I'm thinking all arrows pointing up for everybody. And it's great to see. It's great to see. I really wanted that big crowd against LSU. We got it. I wanted the follow-up, the validation. You make a birdie on hole 9, you want to go to 10 and do it again, right?
Or at least make a par, don't make a triple, right?
Well, don't make a triple, yeah. Don't have that post-birdie F-up. And they didn't have it. They played hard. They played to win. And defensively, they get after you. I think this is – it really – let me ask you this question. I heard this question asked last night at dinner. Tell me how, when you go through an entire offseason and you get ready to play and you go start it off with Miami and then 2 weeks later Texas A&M and you look absolutely nothing like you've looked in the last 2 weeks. How do guys just flip the switch like that during the course of the year when things are starting off badly? Now, I know we had a different quarterback at that time and things were different.
The difference in the team, DJ's played great, but the difference has been the O-line and D-line play. Nobody will convince me otherwise.
So they got better. They've gotten remarkably better.
Nobody will convince me otherwise.
Well, okay, so they've gotten remarkably better in the course of a month during the year. And that's I guess that's what you have to say.
Right. Here's a couple of texts here on the Titan and Mark text line. This is from Jimmy. He says, Shane, do you think DJ will be in the Heisman hunt next year? It's possible. I mean, his name will be listed. Here's my thoughts on this. I mean, we're looking way in the future here, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if he will put up enough stats in this type of offense to win a Heisman Trophy. You see what I'm saying, JC?
Okay, so let me follow up with that. What happened? This is a horrible hypothetical, but I heard it again last night. What if Lincoln Riley and USC come calling and there's a big fat check waiting on him where he can?
Well, okay. But take that out of the equation. We're saying if he plays for the Gators next year.
I know.
I think he's going to be a phenomenal player.
He will be.
But you need to be on a winning team for the most part. Tebow, I think they were 7-5 the year he won it. But I think, it's statistically driven, right?
It is.
Yeah. And so DJ played great the other day. And granted, we know he's not healthy, so I don't need anybody to text me he's on one leg and all that stuff. I know that. But he was 10 of 18 for 160 yards, something like that. 2 touchdowns. That's not going to get it. But to answer his question, yes, he will be in the hunt.
Yeah, I think that's true. And if you didn't watch a game and you're sitting as a voter somewhere in Oklahoma and you see those numbers, you're just turning the page, right?
Yeah.
But
he does a lot of things that you don't see.
Right. You don't see the intangibles that this guy has brought to the team that everybody here knows about, and the way he elevates the rest of the players. They respect him as their leader. He is the highest paid guy on the team, and he is the future of the Florida Gators. He is the most impactful player we've had since Tim Tebow.
Mark says people now saying that Ole Miss isn't very good. You're not going to hear that on this program. I think they're damn good.
I mean, they lost 2 games on the last play, and then they lost a hard-fought game in Florida. But they bombed Georgia. They beat the hell out of South Carolina. They beat the hell out of just about everybody else. They're a very good team, but they're going to go 9-3. That's what they're going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, they are very, very, very good football team, and we beat a good team. And like I told you, I think it's because of our O-line play, because we buckled our chin straps and we ran it down their throat.
Right.
And then
that's how you win.
Our D-line got after Jackson. Now, Jackson Dart still hurt us running the football. And look, they're a hard team to stop, and we stopped them a couple of times.
Just stopped it. And the same with LSU. Stop them too.
Electronics World, integration and design specialist, smart home automation and entertainment, affordable local installation service and support. Go check them out. Electronics World. Also, I don't know what bowl we're going to go to. Possibly, it could be Music City Bowl, Birmingham Bowl. Let's hope not. Or probably the Gasparilla Bowl in Tampa. If we do, we're going to have a big party down at Florida Cracker, JC. Check out the Florida Cracker hats I got here.
Boy. What? Yeah. Tell me about Florida Cracker. Is that a brewery?
It's in Brooksville. So It's a big-time restaurant down there. You would like it, JC.
Okay. All right. I'll
go. It may be a little too country for you, but you would like it.
I've been to Cracker Barrel once. I went there once. Yeah, I went there on the highway exit in Mississippi. Yes, sir.
Rodney says, JC, money isn't everything, and knowing DJ's character, he isn't leaving.
Okay, listen, I don't want him to. I'm just telling you what some guy floated around.
Well, I can tell you right now, if somebody offered you $5 or $6 million, he gone.
Well, guess what? There's a couple schools out there that have that and need a quarterback. A&M comes to mind. Southern Cal comes to mind. But I'm not trying to start any trouble here. All right, don't get.
But
I'm not
again,
trying to start any trouble.
I do think we're going to lose some players, but we're going to gain players as well. Everybody in America is going to do that. Everybody.
Yeah, but this guy loves Florida. He wants to be a Florida guy, and he's committed, and I think it's great. And this is the most impactful players we've had since Tim Tebow.
Yeah. Johnny from Lake City on the Titan MR text line. Did Lagway give you Mahomes vibes for some of the throws while he had defensive linemen draped on him, especially since they were in clutch? Yeah, he's strong. I mean, he's 250 pounds. It's almost 6'4". He's very strong. He's got different arm angles. He did a really good job in the pocket.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, I'm thinking about this defense, and I'm thinking about those old Gator teams that, you just didn't score on or run on in the old days. And I'm just seeing things that make me feel like we're not that far away from that.
I agree, but I disagree because those teams, it was a lot of 3 and outs. Like,
that's true.
It wasn't drive. I mean,
yeah,
I kept going. True. I'd look at, because I got these monitors, right? And I'm looking at these monitors. I'm going, we can't get them off the field, but they don't ever score.
But they don't score.
Yeah, right. That's great.
Yeah.
Frank's question is, Shane, do you think Billy handled the end of what do you think how he handled the first half? Well, I thought it was odd that we called the timeout for them to punt the ball from midfield. I was surprised Lane didn't go for it, first of all. It's like 4th and 4.
Right.
And then we get it. They pin us inside the 15. I think we run the first time. We got nothing. And then I had no problem with it. I mean, you didn't want to get sacked, fumble, or throw an interception and just really have no momentum going into half. I understand. Again,
a lot of times they make a big deal, though, about the last 2 minutes of the first half and the first 2 minutes of the second half, and Florida had the ball both times.
Right. But you got to also understand, again, the defense we were playing can get after the quarterback.
They're good. No, they're good.
Look, I thought it was Billy's. You can question everything after the fact, right?
Yes.
I thought it was a phenomenal game plan.
I do too. It was his best day. It was his best day professionally and otherwise as the head man of this program. It was his best day. And with what they have to look forward to is why I'm so optimistic about what we have to think about here. Now, it's so different than this time last year. And so that's what you want to see is some sort of progressive optimism. And we're getting that. And this kid, if he stays healthy, is going to be special. Well, he is special, but he's going to even be more special. And I'm just really happy they've got somebody now that everybody's talking about nationally. It's not just a regional story. Florida football has been a regional story for the last 2 years. It's now become more of a national story because of what they're doing here in the last 2 weeks, because of what they've done, I should say. So outstanding. Good for the Gators. And look, he says, let's not throw a parade, Iceman. I get it, Iceman. But do you feel better about what you've seen today or where you were a month ago, bro, after the Georgia game? Okay. And the answer is yes, you're feeling better about it today. That's all.
Daryl says on the Titan MR text line, Shane, do I still have to send a check for wearing the 9 jersey this past Saturday? I think it could have been good luck. I was listening to the broadcast in the stadium, heard you refer to the Mills route on an Ole Miss scoring drive. Yep. Complete team and coaching victory. Yeah. Their first touchdown pass. So Trey Harris, their top receiver, right? He didn't even play the first 2 series. I looked at Sean. I go, I guess Trey Harris, he warmed up. He ain't going to play today. The very next play, they line him up and they throw a post route, which was a dig by the tight end, because we kept playing quarters, and we had really good coverage on it, quite honestly. It was just a better throw and catch. But yeah, that's what we used to call the Mills route.
The Mills, Ernie Mills.
For Ernie Mills under Coach
Here's Rob S. Just last week, these 2 guys were talking about how Bama and Ole Miss were going to the playoffs. Well, Rob, everybody was.
Rob's an expert. I'm just telling you, we beat a very good football team.
Yeah,
and they should be in the playoffs, but they're not. Now, however, I did see Heather Dinich yesterday morning before I went and played golf. She said the number 13 team is Bama and the number 14 team is Ole Miss. Yeah, I don't know how you put a 3-loss team in the playoffs at all.
You need more 3-loss teams.
Yeah, South Carolina should be in the consideration, quite honestly.
The only problem with that is that the 2 teams they lost to are other 3-loss teams. That's all. Because they lost to Alabama and they lost.
Well, then why is Ole Miss there? They
Because-
lost to freaking Kentucky, and
No,
LSU has 4 losses.
Well, I know, and you look at losses, then you say, what's more important, losses or wins? And they have a win against Georgia,
Right.
and they embarrassed South Carolina. They did. So it's just how the community's feeling, right? I mean, they're going to wake up, have breakfast, come
Right,
in.
but I still don't think any 3-loss teams are getting in.
Yeah, well, I tend to agree with that. Unless there's so many 3-loss teams that you have to fill 12, right? And you're going to have 5 automatics. You
Right.
got to have 5 automatics and 7 non-automatics. And if there's not a bunch of 3-loss teams, then you're going to go with the 2-loss teams, I guess, and that's your playoff.
Yeah. All right, JC, how we doing the Peachland Dental picks?
Well, you finished off. Well, we're not done because we have another big weekend, rivalry weekend upcoming. But you had your best week of the season, QB. You won the SMU game, you won the Ohio State game, you won the Minnesota game, you won the Arizona State game, you won the Kansas game, you won the Vandy game, you won the Oklahoma game, you won the Kentucky game, and you only had 3 losses, 8-3. JC was 4-7. But I had a good weekend otherwise on the Hard Rock app. But on this, I did not. And listen, that Kansas-Colorado game, I don't know why the hell I picked Colorado on Friday.
They're not very good.
I bet on Kansas. I know it. I'm just confused individual sometimes.
So there's 8 teams in the Big 12 that have a chance to make the play to be in their championship game. Can you believe that?
Yeah, right. So they're going to have to figure that one out. I think it's looking very much like Iowa State and Arizona State. That's what I think is going to happen. I think in the ACC, it's looking very much like Southern Methodist and Miami, unless Miami gets beat by Syracuse, which absolutely could happen up there in Syracuse. And then in the Big Ten, it's clearly Oregon and Ohio State. And in the SEC, it's Georgia now because Alabama lost. All Alabama had to do was beat Oklahoma and Auburn, and they're going to Atlanta. Now they're going home, and Georgia will be.
Maybe y'all should go to the Birmingham Bowl.
Oh, dear God. And then Georgia gets in now, and they're likely going to play.
Georgia's going to play the winner of A&M and
Texas and Texas A&M. Absolutely, is what's going to happen. Now, if A&M beats Texas, the SEC could get 4 in. But if Texas beats A&M, which I think will happen, A&M will therefore have 3 SEC losses, 4 overall losses, and Texas will go to play in a rematch with the Georgia Bulldogs, which I think everybody would be willing to watch. That'd be kind of an exciting game to watch, and I'm sure Texas will be ready or a better prepared team if Quinn Ewers is healthy. And that's a big if, because right now they're saying he may not even play in the A&M game, QB. That, I think, hurts them dramatically because I don't think Manning is ready to take this team through A&M and through Atlanta. I don't think he's ready. So he might be, but I think they have a better chance with Ewers, and he's not 100%. So Texas is going to have to worry about that.
Monty in Lynchburg, Virginia, on the Titanamar text line says, do you think Napier really needs an offensive coordinator? I personally think his offensive game planning has been very good as of late. Look, his offensive plan has not been bad at all this year. You got to remember it. Sometimes we played terrible defense and we sputtered around a little bit on offense. But if anyone thinks we're going to, so here's what you have to accept. Billy's a very good football coach. He's going to do it what he believes gives you the best chance of winning, right? How many people, if we had lost the game and scored 24 points, would be raising hell, right? We won the game at 24 points, okay? It wasn't a great offensive performance. We just ran it right down our throat, kept them off the field. Right. He put a plan together to win the game. You know, the object is to win the game. Again, I don't know. Everybody keeps talking about offensive coordinator. Who you gonna hire?
Well, listen, I hear you, QB, but, the thing is, for me, what Billy's been able to do to keep these kids focused and keep them playing hard is really a testament to how much they like him as a coach and how much he likes them as players. And I think that's going to flow down to the recruits. And I think that's very positive because
that has nothing to do with what I just talked about the offensive coordinator.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I'm not going to argue about offense anymore because, there are games I can't stand as playing. And then there are games like Saturday where I think it was absolutely appropriate to do what they did. And so, with that in mind, they win. And that's really all.
I still don't think he's going to hire an offensive coordinator because I don't either. I will stand till I die. Yeah. That I do not understand when people get jobs because of what they've done in the past. Why would they hand it over to somebody else?
Maybe to keep the current job if asked.
Maybe. But how often does that work out?
Never. Listen, he got the dreaded vote of confidence, and so far it's actually working for him. Good for him. By the way, I just want to mention Friday night at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, we were there, had some company from Mississippi come in, a former player that played here, Kyle Morris, and I had the opportunity to go. By the way, the lamb was great. The redfish was unbelievable. It's really good for, well, whatever you ate.
I ate a damn
it was
tomahawk pork chop. It wasn't a damn. I don't eat lamb, JC.
Pork chop.
We're not over in
have lamb. Somebody told me the lamb was outstanding too. But that tomahawk pork chop looked like something out of a
it was phenomenal.
It was huge. Went upstairs to Visors. And when I went upstairs to Visors, the last time I had gone up there, it was okay. There wasn't a buzz going on, though. And there was a big wall behind the bar, had his signature on it. Okay, that's nice to look at for about 3 seconds. I come out, I talk to Freddie. Guess what they have now? They have a 80-inch TV or whatever it is. They got 2 TVs next to it. They got a bar, and there's buzz around the bar watching football, watching what's on TV, and it feels like a great sports bar environment, and it is. Great job, Freddie Weeby. Great job, Spurs Gridiron Grill staff. They were very attentive on Friday. This is an outstanding experience, and they got the TV up advisors that looked so damn good. And now it's a destination for you to go and watch football, especially Florida football, and upcoming season coming up with basketball now at the Visors Grill. That's where you want to go. The Visors, a rooftop bar. That's where you want to go now because they've got the optics and they've got the vibe that I was looking for as a dude for look. They want to have a sports bar upstairs. They want to have a nice restaurant downstairs. Now I think it's complete. It's complete. It was good. Yeah. Now it's great. And
it was good to see former Gator coaches Dwayne Dixon and Jimmy Ray Stevens were there too. So yes, a lot of people. Way too much. It's great for business, but it's way too many people for me.
Charlie Dean, former tight end.
Oh yeah, Chuck Dean was there. Chuck Dean, who now has the Sweet Citrus Acres RV Resort down in Crystal River.
Sweet Citrus Acres. I'm sure they'll be advertising here soon.
They already advertise on some other things I do. But Chuck Dean was a good tight end.
Sweet Citrus.
And, he looks like he's at Georgia Tech. So
yeah, it looks like he's in great shape. It's someplace for the Yellow Jackets. It's wonderful. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
All right, JC.
Awesome.
Hang on. I have one more question here for you on the Titan MR text line. Where'd it go?
I got it. Yeah. Well, listen, maybe.
Well, I can't find it now, dadgummit.
I like what Mark Filion says. Elagwe elevates the play of the whole team. I absolutely 1,000% agree with that. And everybody's into it, man. This is wonderful.
Kevin says that South Carolina should be in the hunt because they got hosed by the refs against LSU, which
they did. They would have
multiple times, not just once, but twice.
Yes, they would have 2 losses and be in the hunt. Well, they would definitely be in the hunt for the playoffs. I'm not sure about the SEC game, but for the playoffs, 1,000% would be in the hunt. The way they're playing right now is really hard to see. I mean, I think you got to look at Shane Beamer as coach of the year in this conference.
So, okay, Rob's telling me here that sometimes you have to evolve and adapt. Billy clearly can't do both at this level. Every sudden change or possession, the team runs out around like a chicken with his head cut off.
Everybody does, brother.
I mean, did we not watch the 49ers do some dumb stuff?
Everybody does. Everybody does.
Yeah.
It's football. It's the way it goes. It's the way it's played. You don't have perfect games. Rarely do you. If you do.
Okay, I wanted to bring this up before we go to Michael on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, Shane, did you see that Princely went after some fans after the game aggressively and had to be restrained by police? He apologized. Look, I've never seen anything like that in my life. I'm assuming that Princely went up the stadium steps from field level right by Ole Miss's tunnel, and then he went out the tunnel on the mezzanine level where Office of Student Life used to be to the left. Tom Williams, who was part of the Office of Student Life Football's office, was right there. And he went down the ramp chasing fans in full gear. He was in full gear.
What?
I have no idea. I've never seen anything like that in my life. It was crazy.
I wonder how that ended. Did he he was chasing?
He calmed down, I guess. He apologized on Twitter, but
dear Lord.
I have never seen a player go in the stands, up into the stadium, and down an outside ramp in full gear.
He's lucky he didn't get his head taken off by a mob,
Yeah.
But hey, listen, Mississippi's frustrated. They have a right to be, but Florida, on the other end, is at the opposite end. Go play their biggest rival now, who is absolutely reeling, and just tip off a fantastic finish to the regular season.
Capital Idea says, look at how stupid fans are who were calling for him to be fired during the first half of the season. Some of them are now apologizing for that opinion. Both opinions are stupid. Look, football, it doesn't matter if you're a Gator fan. That's why I try to be I just keep an open mind because I love college football. I got a lot of teams I like. I got a lot of coaches I like.
Yeah.
We could easily be here week 3 next year raising it, right?
They're going to play the same teams next year.
Yeah.
Going to flip-flop home field news. We're going to play at Ole Miss next year and at LSU next year. But guess what? Tennessee comes here. So, that's Texas will be coming here next year. That's a lot to look forward to, man. But right now, let's just bask in this glory for now and get ready to go stomp the Noles. I mean, beat the living daylights out of them, hopefully, and finish off at 7-5 and look forward to a hell of a fun trip in December and a great finish. And then guess what? You got a top 20 ranked basketball team that's ready to run up and down the court for you. And that basketball team is pretty solid. I need to see them play somebody that's got a pulse.
Well, when you're in that Dallas stuffing your face with turkey,
right?
We play on Thanksgiving Day, so you can watch them.
I will. Okay. Who are they playing?
I don't even know. Somebody good though. Somebody a team you've heard of, JC.
Is it a team that's got a pulse? Is it a team
yes,
that's
it's a team that has a pulse. They play 2 games down in Orlando. We got to go, JC.
All right, my man.
Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you on Wednesday.
See you on Wednesday. Okay.
That's JC joins us.
Good job, visors. Good job, visors. Good job.
Courtesy of
television.
We'll be right back.
At the bar. TV's at the bar. Be quiet
so I can get out of here. We'll be right back.
Premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Crime Prevention Security Systems, Titan MRI, Meldon Law, QC Kinetics, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, Dave & Buster's. Gridiron sponsors are Florida Cracker Kitchen, Comfort Temp, Peachland Dental, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Cogent Bank, UF Bookstores, Florida Victorious, Quality Plumbing, Silverback Concrete, Electronics World, Miapa Latin Cafe, 84 Lumber, Baker's Sporting Goods, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Signs, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Okido America, Gator Bait Media, Bishop's Barbecue, Los Linderos Tequila, Sunshine Holiday Lights, MG&A Wealth, Nest and Wow. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
After serving over 100 families over the past several years, we're super excited to kick off the holiday season. I'm Dylan. I'm Garrett. And we're Sunshine Holiday Lights. We all know how stressful it can be to decorate your home during the holidays. Our services include installation of all material, maintenance, takedown, and storage of the material throughout the year. If you want to spend more time with your family this year, give Sunshine Holiday Lights a call.
And now for a special announcement from Steve Spurrier.
Spurrier's Gridiron gift cards are on sale for 20% off between November 26th and December the 2nd. You can go to spurriers.com and order a digital card or stop by our restaurant in Celebration Point and pick up some today for the Gators and the people that love good food in your life. Use the code GC20 and get 20% off. That's right, 20% off gift cards with the code GC20.
Get yours today at spurriers.com.
Naysayers, setbacks, injuries. Life throws a lot of hurdles your way. The key is just keep jumping them.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Miapa Latin Cafe. Discover the ultimate Cuban culinary experience at Miapa Latin Cafe with 5 locations in Gainesville and Alachua. You're never far from the best Cuban food north of Miami. We're waiting on Scott to log in here real quick. Alan in Atlanta on the Titanamore text line says, Billy will not be bringing in a new OC. Has built the entire organization around his system. Now that they are turning the corner, no way he abandons that or starts over with a new system. I agree. I agree. This is from Kevin. He says, it's cold in Central Florida basements today. Yeah. Uh, Another text here. Do what it takes to win. Oklahoma ran Vandy's playbook all over Bama. No answer on both sides of the ball. Yeah, they were going up and down the field running the quarterback for sure. All right, we're going to go to the Titanamore hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. And we're going to be joined by senior writer from FloridaGators.com, Scott Carter. Good morning, Scott. How you doing, my man?
Shane, doing well now, man. Finally got the link to where a little technical issues. It's Monday morning. You know how it goes.
No doubt. Scott, I want to get your thoughts. I thought it was the best win against the best team in Billy Napier's tenure since he's been here. It's maybe the best win we've had. I can't. I mean, we'd have to go back. I know McElwain beat a highly ranked Ole Miss team, but I think this team was better than that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have the schedule in front of me from the years past, but I thought it was a phenomenal win.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the best win, like you said, under Napier. 100% agree with that. Probably the most exciting win just there. I can think back on to that LSU in 18, when they beat Joe Burrow in that group the year before LSU won the national title. But it's been a while, and it felt like old times in there, Shane, and that's, I think, what everybody is really wanting to see Florida football do on a regular basis again. And we haven't had a lot of those moments in the last few years. And Billy Napier, for him and his staff and his players, this is a new world. I mean, they haven't had many wins like that. You look back, that was, other than the Utah, #7 in his first game as Florida's coach. This is a high-strength opponent the Gators have beaten under Billy Napier. So, he was in that honeymoon period back then, Shane. He could have lost by 30 and, it would have been fine. But that wasn't the case on Saturday. And just with all the storylines swirling around the game, with the Lane Kiffin, Billy Napier dynamic, Princely, Milan, obviously the vote of confidence by Scott Strickland. How's that going to play out? And it played out about as well as it could have for Florida on Saturday. And you got to give the guys credit, man. I just thought that they played a very inspired game, and they finally got some signature plays on defense by some guys who have been around, Cam Jackson and Caleb Banks, but I thought maybe they were going to be better in their time at Florida, but man, they were really good on Saturday.
Yeah, I think what stood out to me the most in this game is the trenches. We talk about it week in and week out in the SEC play. You have to win the line of scrimmage. I thought Billy's plan, Scott, offensively was unbelievable because Princely cannot defend the run very well. And then the opposite defensive end, the Perkins kid, is very light, about 215, 220. We just ran it right down their throats. And then defensively, we continue to come up with big stops or force teams into bad decisions because teams go up and down the field. You look at LSU and Ole Miss the last 2 weeks. I talked to JC about it. They've had tons of yards.
Yeah.
But one team scored 16 points, the other scored 17. It's just amazing what the defense has done by keeping the ball in front of you. Obviously, they hit a couple of well-designed, well-executed plays against us in the passing game Saturday. But for the most part, we just kept the ball in front of us, and the front four have gotten after the quarterback, and that's made a huge difference.
Huge. You got to give a lot of credit to the defensive staff on what they've done this season because, let's face it, they were under fire as much as anybody after those first couple of losses, and deservedly so. I mean, the defense just looked lost at times. And they went back and worked on some things, and obviously we're going to look back on that first bye week, Shane. I think if Napier does have a long and successful tenure here at Florida, and he does some of the things he was hired to do, I think we could probably write a book about that week off and what happened after that week off and all that he's talked about. I mean, he even talked about it again after the game Saturday. He said there was a couple of practices that week. He walked off the field one day on the Wednesday practice, said that's the best practice I've ever been involved in 20 years of college football. So I don't know what all happened there, but it worked. And of course, it goes back to guys playing better, being the don't break kind of philosophy they've had, getting the rush up front. And, you know, when I look back at this game on Ole Miss, it kind of speaks to how they won that game. I mean, a lot of fans were kind of antsy on social media there in the fourth quarter when Billy decided a couple of times to kind of put the game in the defense's hand there. And it worked out. They kept Ole Miss out of the end zone, and Bryce Thornton gets those picks. And again, it started with the rush and the trenches, as you said. And I just think this is a defense that I don't, on paper, there's really no explanation why they're doing this with how many people they've lost. I mean, when you lose your two starting cornerbacks and your, 6 year starting safety, veteran transfer, you've had some injuries at other spots. You're not supposed to be able to do what they're doing, but that's a credit to the staff and having the guys ready.
Yeah, I think they've put together some really good plans. We've been running a lot of twists, a lot of games, bringing guys off the edge, the slot guy, and teams have just not picked it up well. I still, as much as I like what Lane Kiffin does offensively, I question why he played a wide receiver at running back against us, who had 0 carries for the entire year. Very bizarre. Andy's question on Facebook Live brought to you by Mellon Law. Scott, do you think DJ can help keep the core of this team together, or will NIL and money be too powerful?
Well, I mean, it's a good question. I think certainly DJ's emergence and his place in the program's pecking order right now is only going to help. I mean, I think he's the kind of player that other players want to come and play with. So, if you're a skill position player out there, whether you're in the transfer portal or an incoming freshman, you're like looking at DJ Lagway and thinking, man, this guy can help me. I can help him. So I think Florida is in a great position to kind of leverage DJ's, presence. And I mean, I think this guy I've seen enough to where I tweeted this after the LSU win. I've seen enough that I'm all in on DJ Lagway, and I can't say that early in the year. When those practices it's fall camp, I'm sitting there thinking, man, what is the fuss about? And now
Yeah,
you see
I was the same way.
I feel like an idiot. So,
So, I mean, I still don't think he's a great practice player.
well, he obviously isn't from what we saw, but he is sure as hell a great game player. And getting rid of that ball a couple of times on Saturday. That one where he kind of bent down and sidearmed it around the defender. I don't even know how. I don't know if I've seen a guy do that quite like that, except maybe Patrick Mahomes. And he just got something special about him. So going back to Andy's specific question, I think it can certainly help. I think it's in Florida's favor in that regard. But we all know, if a guy's getting the kind of money that no one else can match, he's probably going to that school. That's just the current landscape. But I like the Gators' position right now.
Yeah, I made a Kent to Colby reference on the radio after that throw.
How about that, man?
Yeah.
I actually know who he is, and
A lot of people listening to this program don't know who Kent to Colby is.
Wore those funky glasses, but yes, that's a great example.
Mark says Jackson Dart made some bad decisions throwing into double coverage. Well, at the end of the game, he was trying to look. He's had an unbelievable college career. He played his tail off against us. Some of those throws he made were ridiculous. I know
a lot of drops too.
Yeah, a lot of drops. A lot of Ole Miss people are giving him a hard time, but you can't. That dude won so many games for Ole Miss and put his heart and soul into the program. I tip my hat to him because he's a dang good player for sure. Silverback Concrete builds firm foundations for generations. You stand on it. We stand by. I got Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com on the Titan Tomorrow hotline, right? All right, Scott, what are you hearing any rumors about what possible bowl game we may be going to?
Well, it seems like the Gator Bowl wants Florida, if they can beat Florida State. They had not played in the Gator Bowl since Will Muschamp's first season in 2011. So it's a long stretch. Last week, before the Ole Miss game, it sounded like the Gasparilla Bowl was probably the most likely destination
Is the
because,
Music City Bowl in the mix at all?
well, you know what? I mean, if they beat Florida State, which expected, you just don't know how the rest of these SEC games are going to turn out. I don't know if it's out of the realm of possibility. I think that
That's where I want to go.
that would be good. I haven't been to that bowl in a long time, so that's a good bowl to go to. Um, but we'll see. I mean, I can understand the allure of Jacksonville wanting the Gators. Haven't been there
Yeah.
in what 14 years. Also, you might get a little better fan travels to that game, and I think there's a little bit of renewed excitement around the program right now, which Florida sorely needs. And again, it hasn't shown up at the box office, Shane. I mean, that crowd was unbelievable again on Saturday. They continue to sell out the swamp. But I think, a lot of people maybe in Jacksonville would like to go up to that game and see, guys people who don't go to the swamp maybe this season want to see DJ Lagway. So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I think a lot of Gator fans would like to go to Nashville too, though. I'm lobbying for Nashville.
Well, I'll be on your lobby. I like that. I'd probably rate that ahead of Gators, Gator Bowl, but
Greg, you just make some of the silliest comments. He says on here, don't insult Shane's QB Jackson Dart. If you can't sit there and tell me he's not a damn good player, Greg, you're blind. Okay. We can talk about other opposing teams having good players. I think so many people have orange and blue glasses, they can't look anywhere else. Blows my
I mean,
mind.
Jackson
Anyway.
Dart's going to be a very good player for a long time. And, if I was an Ole Miss fan today, yeah, I'd be disappointed.
Mhm.
I'd be more mad at the receivers. And quite frankly, I'd be more mad at Lane Kiffin. I thought in the first half of that game, it just felt like he made some calls that were kind of nonchalant. And it
Yeah.
was like a little overconfidence. I don't know what it was. I just thought that he really had some spots in the first half where maybe the Rebels could have created some separation, and they didn't because of some calls.
Yeah, and I have no problem running JJ Pegues because he's been doing that all year.
He's been
done
doing that
that,
all.
but maybe once, maybe twice, but not
Yeah,
4 times. I don't take your best player, your quarterback, take the ball out of his hands.
yeah.
Um,
No, I agree. I agree 100%.
but anyway, it's easy to second guess all the time.
Sure.
We don't know what their plan was either. Okay, from an injury standpoint, how'd we look coming out of this game?
I mean, let's see. Did anybody? I mean, obviously, Aaron Gates was the big one early in the game, uh, and we don't know about him. I mean, obviously, it was pretty serious because he never returned. So I don't know his status for Florida State. We'll find out more as the week progresses. Billy's he doesn't really give much on injuries now with the injury report, so probably not going to find out a lot until Wednesday. And then otherwise, I think they were pretty clean. I mean. Uh, Nothing that I remember off the top of my head, guys. I get so locked in on other things, I don't watch every injury. But I know Ole Miss had a lot more
Yeah.
injuries in the game than
They
Florida.
had some of the most awkward landings.
Yeah,
Like
Trey Harris, man. Ugh.
Trey Harris, which if he doesn't, if he just catches that ball and doesn't like fall, he may score.
Yeah,
Uh, the first touchdown, I thought we were going to get offensive pass interference called on us because I thought Badger pushed off, but it looked like the kid tore his ACL in the end zone.
just
The
playing
way he
around.
landed, it was weird,
Yeah,
but that's part of the game. That's part of the game. I don't know if
yeah.
the
And
was
it's
given
it's
out or
been
what.
part of the Gators story this year. A big part of the Gators story. The fact that we're talking about them overcoming a lot of those injuries is the only reason that they've been able to kind of rebound and go into this Florida State game. A 15 and a half point favorite, which I was a little surprised it was that big, but
Yeah.
not surprised it was favored.
Yeah. So Greg says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melville, there's no crying in football, Shane. Did you cry after your Alabama interception? I didn't, but I was very depressed. Maybe our greatest player ever here, Greg, cried after losing to Ole Miss, a guy named Tim Tebow. Just because
Yeah.
you cry does not mean anything. It means you care a little bit. I mean, you don't have to cry to care, but just because he was crying, I had no problem with that. I
You
mean,
must who you talk about Dart?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Look, the
I
guy's
like
the
the
quarterback
guys.
of his football team, and he put him on his shoulders the last couple of years. and he was trying to do something the school has never done, and they came up short. So obviously, he he cares about the program. I don't see anything wrong with that at all.
No, same here. If I'm an Ole Miss fan or his coach or whatever, his teammate, I love to see that kind of passion. Like you said, that means that guy, it meant something to him on that day. So
Yeah.
I'd much rather see that than a guy like Princely walking off the field before the game ends.
Yeah, for sure. Capital Ideas says on YouTube, brought to you by Quad. Lagway obviously has a great arm and special instincts, but he has still a lot to learn. Have to see if he avoids the sophomore slump. Yeah, he will. He still struggles with a lot of the intermediate stuff, but he's got a unique ability to do things you can't teach. It's like I've been saying it, Billy. I don't know if Billy listens to my show or not, but I've been saying the good Lord blessed him with a lot of things you can't teach because Billy says
Right.
it like every time in his press conference now. And it's true. It is so true.
Very, very true.
All right, Scott. You're not going down to cover the basketball team. You're gonna stay home and eat, right? Let Chris Harry go handle it.
Chris Harry is handling that. He's our Thanksgiving writer. He's gotten some good trips out of those Thanksgiving trips. He's been to Portland, Oregon a couple of times, Bahamas a couple of times, San Diego next year, hopefully. So I just stay. I bounce back between Gainesville and Orlando each year. This year it's my Gainesville family, so I'm just gonna hang out here and eat some turkey, man, and then drive over to Tallahassee for the game and see if Florida can win third in a row. Find out where their bowl game is. Could they begin the season, Shane, on a 4-game winning streak? I mean, I told my wife I wasn't going to get my hair cut after the Tennessee game until they won back-to-back games. I was thinking I might not get a haircut for months, but now I'm going to have to go get one because they surprised me. So I'm going to get a haircut this week and see where they go on Saturday, man.
Well, I think I had us winning 8 games at the beginning of the year. We still have a
Look,
chance.
look at there, man. You may, after all the ups and downs, you may be right on point.
Yeah. Michael says the ball placement skill that Lagway exhibits on the majority of his completions is unbelievable. Can that be taught? No. I've always been a believer when accuracy is something that the good Lord blesses you with. You can practice it all you want.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to your Porto Lagway. He's like he's late in the first quarter, early in the second quarter on his career. I think he's got so much more to work on and develop. But what is exciting and why we're talking about him so much is what you said. He just got some of those innate abilities, and not every guy has those. Not every guy has those. We've seen plenty who haven't, and sometimes you get a guy and you develop them, and they turn out to be a pretty good player. And sometimes you get a guy like DJ who he needs less teaching and just more experience. And I think that's where he is. He's going to figure his body and his thinking and everything is going to help him figure out so much things out that other guys it takes them a long time, and some never do.
Mark says on YouTube, brought to you by Quad Plunk, Dart's a good QB. He'll probably be one of the first QBs taken in the draft. I don't know where he'll be drafted. He'll get drafted. Speaking of that, I was talking to some scouts before the game Saturday up in the box, and we were just talking about some of the Florida players. They said that there was 2 different teams there. They do believe Graham Mertz will be drafted and will make some rosters. They like him a lot.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too. And I could see Graham. I mean, though it fits Shane, but I could see Graham. He would have a great career doing kind of what you did.
You're damn
You
right
know,
he could.
finding
Yep.
your spot on teams, and while the starters out there getting beat up and stuff,
Yep.
you're in the hot tub reading the papers.
Yep.
I mean, it's a hell of a career.
It's a good career because he's got he understands X's and O's. That's what my strength was.
Yeah.
I mean, again, he's bigger. He's way bigger than I was. He's like 35 pounds heavier than when I played. So,
Oh wow. Wow.
yeah, I played at 195. He's what? He's 225, 230.
Somewhere like that. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, he'll make it. He'll make it in that league for sure for a long time. All right, Scott, we run out of time. We appreciate your joining the program, and we'll see you in Tallahassee. And I hope you and your family have a good Thanksgiving, my man.
All right. Same to you, Shane. You guys have a good one.
All right, that's Scott Carter joining us on the Titan Memorial Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. For sprains, strains, and minor fractures, UF Health Ortho Care makes it convenient for you 7 days a week, including evenings, walk-ins, or welcome. That's UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Appreciate everybody joining us today. We'll be here tomorrow. Same place, same time. Have a great day. Take care.